There's more than one way to go about investing. Today, we're going to talk about two of those ways. The most exciting way is not often the most profitable way, but people are attracted to it because, well, it's just more exciting.
If you boil investments down to the basics, most people approach investing the same way they would approach a slot machine in Las Vegas, trying to get something for nothing. They hope to be able to put in a little money and take out a lot of money. It can happen, but it's unrealistic to expect high returns consistently in either gambling or investing.
If you're thinking of investing as a way to get rich quick, that should be a red flag to you that you're thinking incorrectly about investing. There's an old fable about a hare and a tortoise. A hare is like a rabbit, a tortoise is like a turtle. The hare is fast, the tortoise is slow. And as the story goes, the hare kept taunting the tortoise about how slow he was. Well, one day, the tortoise challenged the hare to a race, and the hare accepted. The race began, and the hare was off like a flash, and the tortoise plodded along. Well, the hare looked behind, saw that the tortoise was so far behind, and figured he had time for a nap. So he went to the side and took a nap, and the tortoise plodded along, along, along. And the hare woke up just in time to see that the tortoise was about to cross the finish line. He quickly got up, scrambled to try to reach him, but no, the tortoise crossed the finish line. The moral of the story is slow and steady, and that's the bedrock for this podcast.
So let's talk about investments that we know a lot about and investments that we know nothing about.
And an investment that one person knows a lot about may be an investment that somebody else doesn't understand
So
a
if
lot
you
about.
know
And so,
something,
yeah, an investment that's good for one person can be a bad investment for another person. Even take real estate as an example. A lot of people are interested in investing in real estate. Real estate can be a great investment for people who understand it. It can be a bad investment for people who don't understand the workings of real estate and don't have a sufficient cash cushion.
And even a good investment today in real estate, even though you might know a lot about it, because of market conditions, you have to be ready to be able to pivot. So if you've bought to hold real estate and now you have no renters, maybe you need to be thinking about, am I needing to flip this property instead of holding on to it?
so an investment that starts out as a good investment, it may change in the climate, in the financial environment that we're in, and suddenly it's not such a great investment. So that's what you're saying, Tom. We need to pivot to change so that the investment we have is still profitable.
Yeah.
And that comes down to being educated. Education isn't something that we do just one time. It
Oh,
means
I went to school. I got a diploma. I'm educated.
yeah, you got mass herded, you schooled,
Yeah.
but you didn't get education is something that continues as long as we're alive. And if we ever shut that off, then we can get caught in a bad investment that started off as a good investment.
I was hearing somebody talk the other day. They were saying so many people are concerned if they don't have things figured out by their 30s. Well, life is all about figuring things out. So you should never want to have everything figured all out. And that is part of that ongoing education process. You know, the story that you told about the tortoise and the hare, as we were just coming into the show today, reminds me of what a lot of people are going through as they think about saving money for the future. There's a common example that's out there that says if you put away $100 a month and have it grow at 12% for the next 40 years, you'll end up with $1.1 million. It's actually almost $1.2 million.
That sounds exciting.
Sounds very exciting. And yet, when the market conditions change, whether it's in real estate, whether it's in, the typical investments, what if you only earn 6%? Well, people would automatically think, okay, well, about half of that, so maybe around 500,000, something like that. In reality, it's less than 200,000.
Yeah.
That's a
Wow.
big difference. You got to be ready to pivot. And so, whatever investments that you're going after, you want to be ready for those changes. You want to understand them. And that's something that we've noticed here at McPhee Insurance. The people that tend to do well in investments, whether they're our clients or other people that we come in contact with, the people that tend to do well have invested in things that they understand.
The old saying, invest in yourself, is one of the best pieces of advice that we give people because we're always getting people calling, what should I invest in? Well, we don't give investment advice on Wealth Talks or at McPhee Insurance because what is a good investment for someone might be a horrible investment for you. And it's important that you get the education and the knowledge that you need to feel confident that this is going to be a solid and profitable investment for you. And if you have your situation set up where you've got your protection and your savings, your cash cushion, then if that investment goes south for some reason, you can cut your losses and still not go back down to zero or negative. Whereas people that are just chasing the exciting speculative casino type investments, they often do that by going into debt. And then when the market collapses or the investment doesn't turn out, they're left with their shiny attraction here and the debt that goes along with it.
So as we're talking about this stack of rings here, these two top rings, the orange investments and the red ring here with the little flashy beads inside of it. This one's going to be the high risk, exciting investments. These are the ones that we actually know things about. Is that our analogy here?
It is. We want to have a firm knowledge about this, and we need to continue to educate ourselves and stay in tune with this while we're investing in it because things happen. The market changes.
Well, and we just had an example a moment ago, John, when you dropped that high risk investment.
Easy to
It
drop.
made a lot of noise. But it was hard to hang on to.
Yeah.
And that's really true of a lot of these high risk things. They're hard to hang on to. And when the market changes, if they're not able to pivot quickly, then they're left holding an investment that is going the wrong way.
Something that we've seen a lot of is we have people call us and say, hey, I'm going to come into a lot of money just in the next week or month or next year, and I need to buy life insurance for the protection of all this money that's coming in. And 9 times out of 10, I know what they're going to say. It's going to be the Iraqi dinar.
There's a lot
Don't
of
tell
secrecy
anybody.
around it. Yeah.
So I was looking that up in preparation for this podcast, and there's a big article in Forbes about this. This is a huge scam. It's not going to happen. And these forex trades have been going on for years, ever since foreign currencies could be traded. But the fact is that people have not educated themselves to know that this is a scam. And it's really sad because not only do they not have the money to buy the life insurance for protection right now because they put it all in the dinar, they don't have money to do anything with. And they're just hoping beyond hope that, this is the final straw that's going to make me get rich.
There's so many people that are on board with that too, that I know even some people that would be considered intelligent otherwise who have looked at this and said, well, maybe I should buy some just in case.
Well, that's like the person that says, I'm going to spend $20 on the lottery every month just in case.
But in this case, their decision is not driven by logic because these are, otherwise intelligent people. They're just seeing so many people going this direction, they have a fear of missing out.
Yeah, and that they're not heeding that red flag. They're hoping that investing will be a get rich quick.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not a good way to build wealth.
Well, that's really the definition of gambling and speculation rather than investing.
It is.
And there's a huge difference between investing and speculation.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people, if they're going to invest in their own life, something that they know about, they might invest in education. And that on the surface, that seems to be a good thing, right? Because who wouldn't want to invest in the tools, the books, the experience? And hey, who wouldn't even want to invest in time with people that you want to spend more time with, like family? That's a type of investment. So when it comes to education, though, a lot of people think that means spending money on a college education, and you don't always get the value back out of that. I'm thinking of somebody right now who went to school to become some sort of psychology degree, and they're working in that field now, but they really would prefer to have the job as a manager at a fast food chain, which they had while they were going through school.
Yeah, there was more fulfillment in that, less stress, and they really preferred the position more. But now they have the school bill
Yeah, and
that
now
they need
now
to.
they need to work in that line of work, but a lot of people don't end up working in the line of work that they go to school with, and so this is an ongoing thing. A college education isn't necessarily a good investment, but it is for some people.
Mhm.
Some people need that education to be able to do work in the line of work that they've decided to pursue.
Or what about the people that we know that have borrowed money to help their children go through school or co-signed for them to go through school to accumulate debt to get an education that now their child doesn't even use that education in their career?
That's often a sad situation because the parents, the loans that the parents assume can often end up cutting into their retirement, and they don't have like the income-based repayment programs and some of the other things that are available. Not that those things are great programs, but the parents don't have those options available. They pretty much are stuck with making those payments for long periods of time or paying off the loans.
And that cuts into the parents' retirement savings
Often does.
and it prevents them from being able to be self-sufficient in their older years because that money is due. They co-sign for it. Their name, they're liable for it. That becomes an investment that was kind of a shiny object rather than a solid investment. It's there's good investments though, and there's people that really take the time to really learn and find out all the details they can before they put their money into an investment. Those are the people that usually are not expecting a really speedy return. They're more like the tortoise, Michelle, where they know that if they do this in a very maybe dull and monotonous way for a long time, that it's going to pay off. And that reward in the future is better than giving up the excitement that they have today.
Well, and part of the excitement you're talking about, these exciting investments, sometimes it's not the investment itself, but it's the perceived lifestyle that might go with that investment, that people get attracted to that and they really don't know what that investment is producing. Whether it's a college education, going to college, whether it's um, some other sort of investment, when you see some of the lifestyle that you attribute to that investment, sometimes that's what's exciting people,
Yeah.
and sometimes that's a facade.
If you see somebody that's done well in real estate and they have a lifestyle that you like, you might think, oh, well, I should be in real estate. If you see somebody that did well in crypto, made a lot of
Mhm.
money in crypto in the early days, and you say, I should be in crypto. Not necessarily. There's a lot more than just meets the eye, but that lifestyle thing is certainly attractive. Russell Conwell used to tell the story of Acres of Diamonds about the diamond or the farmer who really wanted to search for diamonds. He ended up selling his farm, going on a fruitless hunt for diamonds, ended up dying somewhere. But then the farmer who bought his farm found a stone in the creek, put it on the mantle, and the priest was coming over and recognized that it was a diamond. That farm turned out to be one of the most productive diamond mines.
That happens oftentimes. Start looking far away for investment opportunities when really they could be very close at hand and something that we know about, but we're not thinking in the way that we need to think to be able to collect that harvest.
Another way that an investment can be good or bad is, are we investing in something that aligns with our moral values?
Mm-hmm.
If we're investing in something that doesn't align with our moral values, we're actually destroying ourselves because money is just an extension of ourselves. And so now we have this duplicity between who we are and what we're allowing our money to support and do. And so we have to be careful about that. And that's where the education comes in too, is we have to invest in things that align with our moral values.
So there's talk of black swan investments. So can you tell
Sure.
us just a little bit about black swan
Yeah,
investments?
real quick, the way the black swan investments work, some investments, you make an investment and your return potential is limited, but you might lose it. That's going to be considered a negative black swan potential. On the other hand, you might make an investment that has a potentially unlimited return. Perhaps you might lose it. But which one would you rather make?
Well, those
Mhm.
black swans aren't very common, and so that's why they're called black swan investments. You never know if an investment is going to be a black swan. So that's kind of out there. It's a little bit of a gamble. You have to be ready to lose the money that you invest.
And the whole idea of a black swan is that nobody sees it coming.
And that's why it's so important to have the protection, the cash cushion, and manage debt. Because regardless of what happens to our investments, we'll still retain the savings and the protection.
When we come back from the break, we're going to talk about how clients of McPhee Insurance invest their money.
Did you ever play with a set of these rings growing up? They make a great visual picture of how you should set up your finances. On top, you have the higher risk investments, the lower risk investments. This ring is debt, this ring is savings, and this ring is protection. This stand represents the economy. If there's one thing we know about the economy is that it will change, and it does, and this can change. It's unstable. What some people do when they set up their finances, they take and they go for the shiny, high risk, potentially higher yield investment. Now, potential return does not mean probable, and it is definitely not probable. So this doesn't perform as well as they hope, and they think they should add a more conservative investment that actually might return something. So they add that. And believe it or not, some people will go into debt for that. Add that to the debt they already have, and there's their debt ring right on top of that. If you are listening to this podcast, I hope that you have time to click the link in the description for the YouTube video, and we'll tell you where in that video you can see this demonstration, because it really comes alive when you see it. Well, you have these three negatives, these investments that aren't returning as well as you had hoped, and your debt, which is just a draw on your finances. And people think, oh, I should probably save something. So they add savings to that. Then they look at what they have going there. It looks a little precarious. So they plop some protection right on top of that. Well, if there's one thing we know about the economy is that it will change. It is uncertain and unstable. And as soon as it changes, you lose your protection and your savings, which are the two things you want to keep most. That's the importance of doing it right. Start with protection. That makes a nice foundation for everything else you do financially. Once you have protection in, then add your savings program so you can keep more of the money you make. Next, make sure your debt is handled. Pay off the bad debts, keep the good debts. A good debt is one that gives you a tax advantage or limits your opportunity costs and allows you to make money. Once that's handled, you can do an investment. Hopefully this is something you know about, because those type of investments that you know something about tend to return better. And if you have extra cash flow and want to go for one of those potential high risk, high reward investments, then you can do that too. Now, when the economy changes, you're much more secure. At McPhee Insurance, we specialize in helping people set up this layer, the protection layer, the foundation for what they do financially. We specialize in designing and selling whole life insurance that becomes this protection layer for you. It's a good foundation for everything else you do financially. If you need life insurance, or if you need to get a life insurance policy you already own reviewed, we can help you with both of those things. Contact us by phone at 702-660-7000, or you can email us, team@mcpheeinsurance.com.
Most clients of McPhee Insurance use their whole life insurance policies as a place for protection, a place to keep their savings, and a place to keep their money ready for opportunities. We want to share some of the ways that our clients have used the money that's ready for opportunity in their policies to make investments.
I think one of the most exciting things that I see is our clients being able to use their cash values for financing equipment or expanding their business, because this is a place where people just throw money away because everyone talks about, well, lease your equipment because you'll just have so many more tax advantages. But when we use our cash value to finance business expansion or growth, we still get those tax advantages. Plus, we get the equipment. Plus, we get the money back that we paid for the equipment.
Yeah, keep the money in the family. Just makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, we have a close at hand example. About 16 years ago, we needed a new phone system for our office. And so we looked at purchasing the phone system, and we thought, why should we take the money that we have coming in and just buy the phone system when we can have that money deposited in the life insurance policy, get guarantees on it, and have access to use that money? So we borrowed from our policy to put the phone system in. Now, we did the math. The phone system, we could have financed it through the company.
Or leased it. Mm-hmm.
Yes, but you found that the finance the charge was hidden in there. It was like 29 or 30%. And we thought, no way, we can get a policy loan for 5%. And so we made the payments back to ourselves with a little extra interest. We got the write-off because it was our business that borrowed the money. And we're still using that phone system today. It's been a great investment for us.
We were talking to a guy just the other day that financed a digital x-ray unit. And digital x-ray prices can be all over the board. We were looking, it could be anywhere from $10,000 to $175,000, depending on the system that you get. If we kind of pick a midpoint range, let's say $50,000, you were looking up some of the numbers on that. It's like $2,300 a month for 2 years if you're going to finance that system. That works out to between 8 and 10%, depending on how long you take to pay one of those loans off. I think that 2-year example was about 10%.
So when we're talking about investments, I think of the old farmer that owned all the property around us when we lived in Virginia. And he told me that his father taught him a very powerful lesson. He said, Tom, if you can't make a dime today, you save a dime. And saving a dime is an investment. So when we can finance something instead of paying interest to a leasing company or interest to a bank or finance company, and we can redirect that interest back to ourselves plus recover the principal, we're going to win hands down against any other type of investment. People are always saying, well, I can get a higher rate of return, and we're going to talk about that next week on this podcast. But the thing is you can't match return on the principal.
Yeah.
So then we have clients that don't have businesses. And so then they're thinking, well, where am I going to put this money? How am I going to invest it? And really they can just wait, have that money available and wait for opportunities to come to them. So I think of these one clients we had, they did have a business, but that's not what I'm going to talk about. She was also at home with her children and thought, hey, I'm going to ferment some cabbage and have that, for our family. And they were enjoying eating that. And family and friends heard about that. Oh, would you do that for me too? And so she added to the crock that she had on her kitchen counter. But then word got around and soon her kitchen counter is filled with crocks. And she said, wait a minute. I can't keep doing this in my kitchen. Maybe there's a little bit of a business opportunity. Maybe other people would be interested in me fermenting foods. So they got a little place in a strip mall. They borrowed from their policy to open this little storefront. And they have been at least through 3 or 4 expansions now. They have quite a bit of this strip mall because the business grew. And they just expanded as the business grew. So they didn't get a whole huge storefront to start with. And she hadn't even planned on opening a business. She was just
doing it for her family,
doing something for her family. And so the opportunity grew itself, and their eyes became open. Hey, maybe we should do this. So even if you don't have a business to invest in right now, or don't see an opportunity right now, having the funds available for when you do see an opportunity
that's so important.
Is very important.
Yeah.
The exciting part about this story too is that when we visited her store here a few years back, she was getting orders from the local hospital for her products to help their patients' gut health because fermented food is so good. So not only is she creating a business and creating income and hiring people and giving their families income, she's helping people improve their health, which is wealth as well.
And what if they had put their money into a 401k? Would that opportunity have ever come along or looked so attractive if they didn't have the money ready in their life insurance and accessible to be able to take that opportunity?
And there's limits on what you can borrow from your 401k for and how long you can have that money out. Plus you have to pay extra to use that money. So, and then,
Yeah. So
quite a different
building money for opportunity, even if you don't know what that opportunity is a great way to start. And that brings us to another example of a client who referred one of their friends to us about 10 years ago. And he started a policy, started building money for a future opportunity. And how did that turn out?
Well, fast forward to today, that initial client is expanding her office, and her friend that she referred now has cash value that he is also helping her expand that office. So, here she's just referring a friend to get started, and the friend looks at the cash value. It's not very exciting at first, but 10 years down the road,
Building opportunity.
yeah, an opportunity came along, and now he's able to help his friend, and he knows his friend's character. He knows her business. He's watched it be productive all these years. That's a good investment for him. He's pretty close to it. It's a good investment for her too, because, she knows her business.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of another client here in the Midwest that before they were ever married, they started their foundation and bought their life insurance policy and built that up so that they had a nice cash cushion. And they ended up buying a duplex and having their rent for free because the duplex next to them was paying the mortgage. And they just moved up because they had that solid foundation of the life insurance and their cash cushion. And now they've moved on to expanding in his area of expertise, which is automobiles and mechanics and auto body stuff. And they've bought a shop, and they're selling cars off their lot, plus they're doing repairs. And all of that is because they started at the solid foundation. And what I'm seeing in common in all of these is the time factor. The exciting, sexy investment often is, oh, in a month you're going to turn a profit. I'm thinking of another client who got all excited about oil wells, and the profits that you could make in oil wells, and the tax benefits and the write-offs that you had, and he was so excited about it.
Why was he getting those tax benefits? Is because oil companies often, exploration or drilling companies, they often lose money. So that's where the tax credits are coming
That's
from.
where the tax credits come from.
But of course, you hope for that big payoff.
Right. He did not educate himself and get enough knowledge. And so when he invested, he lost all of his money. Fortunately, he still had his base, his life insurance, and some savings because of the life insurance. But because of the excitement over the sparkly, shiny possibilities, he lost his clarity of thought. And that's where we need to really be careful and make sure that we look into what we're going to put our money in. Money that is lost has to be made over again. And that's the whole purpose of the life insurance, is that we can recover the money that we're buying assets with or investing with.
So remember, investments don't have to be rare, exclusive, elusive, exciting, or high risk to be good investments.
If you want to make an investment, it's time to evaluate your finances. Do you have the protection in place? Do you have the savings, the cash cushion that you need in case things go south? Have you managed the debt you already have? Have you turned bad debt into performing debt for you? Have you made it an asset? And if you've done those things, then now it's time to get educated. Get the knowledge you need about what you want to invest in so that you lower your risks. You've got to understand the territory before you get involved in it. And just like we talked about our client who understood mechanics, and now he's got a mechanic shop and he's got a car lot because that was his expertise. Understand what you're going to invest in.
If there's one thing you take away from the podcast, let it be this. Every time you spend money, you make an investment. It could be a good investment or it could be a bad investment. Investments don't need to be rare, elusive, exclusive, exciting, or in a land far away. Some of the best investments are right in front of you. And if you can't see them, it's because you're looking at everything the way everyone else looks at them.
We believe you can and should be rich, and investing is one of your responsibilities with the money that comes under your control. So we want to talk about the returns on your money, the return of your money, and interest rates, which have been rising during these uncertain times. Next week, right here on Wealth Talks.